Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for having me to interview you today. As I understand, you are soon finishing your mission in Uzbekistan. So how would you evaluate, let's say, rate or assess your presence within the 3 years working closely with Uzbek officials, civil society and others?
Well, first let me thank you for inviting me to have this interview. It is really a pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to talk about my time in Uzbekistan. As you say, it's been 3 years. It has been a privilege, an honor, a pleasure discovering Uzbekistan. How would I diagnose it? I would diagnose, well, it's an exciting time for Uzbekistan, of course. And what I am always struck by when I come here is the energy. The energy in the ambition that I see everywhere, in the public servants to whom I speak, in civil society activists, in business people, entrepreneurs. Changes in the air and people want to make it happen. So to that, in that way, it's always a very positive experience to come here. It's also been a really good period for Canada-Uzbekistan relations. Our trade has grown astronomically. We've seen more cultural cooperation. We see more Canadian companies being interested in the Uzbek market. We celebrated 30 years of bilateral relations last year. So it too has been very positive. But there's always a but.
Sure.
I would say that I leave here wishing that we have been able to realize the potential more. Mm-hmm. I think we have a firm foundation of shared priorities. I think that Uzbekistan has accomplished so much in terms of addressing human rights, in terms of prioritizing the rights of women, in terms of setting goals for itself. And I can see shared priorities, particularly when I speak about commercial priorities. And those are important because it's prosperity for Uzbeks and it's prosperity for Canadians. And I see that there are priorities, particularly in the green transition, in addressing climate change, in looking at ways to use energy more efficiently or to invest in renewable energy. And I think that Canadian companies and Uzbek companies have a lot to learn from one another, and there's tremendous potential. So I leave here with some sadness, but I hope that that potential will continue to be realized.
Very good. Since we talk about green economy, about ecology and environment, and in your view, what else could be done to improve the current situation in Central Asia, and whether Canada can also contribute?
Well, I don't know Central Asia so well. My focus has really been on Uzbekistan, but when I look at Uzbekistan and Canada, I see two large countries, two countries for which water management is a huge priority, forest management, the impacts of climate change. We're both mineral-rich countries, but we understand that these industries can have very negative consequences on the environment. So responsible business conduct. How do we leverage opportunities to bring prosperity to our societies while respecting the environment? So I think that Uzbekistan, as the world knows, has suffered greatly from practices in the past that have caused tremendous harm. When we look at Canada this past summer and the wildfires that have torn through all across my country, we feel the urgency. And so I think that there are both those similarities, but also in terms of technological capacities, educational opportunities, different ways to learn from one another, I can certainly see those very, very strongly for Uzbekistan and Canada.
Good. How about education? What could you say about the prospect of our bilateral relations? Can we work on that sphere too when we have Canadian students on Uzbek soil and vice versa, Uzbek people can go and study in Canada?
Well, it's certainly a priority for us to make great strides in that area. But when we talk about education, I think it's important to really unpack what we mean by that. Uzbekistan, of course, a very, very young country that's growing very quickly, that is looking for educational opportunities for its young people that will lead to employment. And so that is education, primary, high school, vocational, as well as post-secondary at the university level. So one of the, and specifically on vocational training, this is an area where Canada does have really good capacity. And so we are, have different channels of dialogue that are talking absolutely about student exchanges, but teacher exchanges, but also exchanges on curriculum, on education systems. So I think that education is hugely important, and I think that there are opportunities at all of those levels.
Very good. I know you have your own vision on gender equality issues. I wish to link that with the current policy of Uzbek government, where the president is prioritizing girls' education, so more opportunities for women to study abroad and here. What do you say about that? Do you say that we are on the right path, or should we tweak and do something else?
I think you can only benefit from educating everyone, but absolutely educating women and girls. There is a saying that we repeat a lot, my Prime Minister repeats a lot, that when you empower women and girls, you empower communities. So there are statistics that support this, that when you have an educated girl, an educated woman, first of all, you are unleashing the full potential of your society when you have women that are able to join the workplace. But equally, in raising children, a woman who is educated is also then in a better position to teach, as all parents do. So absolutely, I think that education of women and girls is critical for the success of a society. And I think that it's very important that boys and men understand that it is not a choice. We're not choosing women and girls over you. By raising women and girls in an equal way with men and boys, everybody benefits. And I fear sometimes that gets lost in the conversation, and it's important that it's not.
Thank you very much. And well, in fact, that's all I wish to know from you, but your farewell words to Uzbek people.
Well, thank you is my main message. It has been truly a joy getting to know this country and its people. I've had the privilege of traveling quite a bit. I've been through the Silk Road twice, starting in Nukuz, through visiting the fortresses in Khwarezm Empire, to Bukhara, Samarkand, Navoy, where a Canadian company has been involved in in explorations. I've been up to Chimgan, and I should say I have 3 children, and yes, and I brought them over so they could see Uzbekistan as well, and they loved it as much as I did. So it is hard not to fall in love with this country and its people. I hope that while I say farewell as ambassador, I hope to be back as a friend of this country, and in the meantime would like to wish all Uzbek people every success in achieving the ambitions it's set for itself, and hope that Canada will be part of achieving that.
Thank you very much, and I cordially also wish you personally and your family all the prosperity and luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.